Hello, friends.
Hello.
Welcome back. Come on, give me some more love.
Hello.
Here we go. Come on. Sacre bleu.
Sorry.
Where are we?
We are in Montreal.
Amazing. Episode 8.
Yeah.
Wow. Just over 4.5 months.
Yeah. Wild. It is flown by.
It's been the week of recreation, leisure, and pleasure.
It has been so good.
After being go, and if you caught towards the tail end of our previous episode, spoke about how we wanted to set a destination where we're going to be switching from travel and operations mode, a couple of sandflies.
Yeah, a couple of sandflies.
Into holiday enjoyment, relax, you know, take off the pressure to have to plan every day and forward plan the hardest decision is, where are we going to eat?
Yeah.
In a beautiful place like this.
Yeah.
So we thought we'd kick it off by hopefully inspiring you to go to Montreal. Why not to sleep on it if you're going to Canada?
Yeah.
And why it is worth coming all the way this side of Canada. As much as, you know, the Rockies are glorified and they are beautiful for reasons, and it's very popular to go to that, you know, west coast of Canada.
And arguably a lot closer for Aussies.
It is a lot closer, and that is the mini Australia outside of Australia.
Yeah. But if you really want to experience a different side to Canada, then coming to Montreal is
no-brainer.
Such a no-brainer.
Absolute no-brainer.
So worth it. Especially, I would caveat in summer.
Yeah. Very good.
You have been in winter and it was totally different.
100%.
Yeah.
And I was there in, peak winter, full thermals. I said to Maddie throughout this whole week, and she kept asking, she's like, could you have done this? Did you see any of Montreal like this? And I was like, 80 to 90% of what we were able to do in this last week, in this first week of August, which is like peak summer, was not accessible in winter when everything was snowed over. You can see we're in this like beautiful park and people are topless and just walking around and having barbecues. Like,
it
is
is
very different in the winter.
Very charming.
Yeah.
It's honestly like Europe, but in Canada. Take France.
That's what it said, yep.
Put it in Montreal.
Yeah. Where people can also speak English.
So it's bilingual.
And they're very warm to it.
So bilingual.
Yep.
Whereas you go to France and you try and speak French, and it's difficult because unless you're very fluent, you kind of get met with a bit of...
And if you're French, tell me if I'm wrong, but that's what we've observed.
Yeah, that's what we've experienced, Can't
say for definitive.
But here, because everyone's bilingual, like they are so happy to help you with your French, which has been so nice.
Yeah.
And it would be the perfect place to come and learn French,
100%.
although different to maybe the French. What do they call it? The dialect is
dialect, yes, which is often what's shared. But the amount of times I've walked into store owners and I'm just like, well, you know, they're not in a rush for a vendor, and I'm just like, you know, do you parle anglais? And they're like, yes. Like, do you speak English? And I go, can I practice my French with you? And they'll be like, absolutely. And then I'll just say the phrase of like, how do I order a coffee or how do I ask for something, whatever. And then in English, I can then ask them to clarify something if they shoot back a response. Because often in France itself, I was so intimidated. Even with my high school French that was somewhat okay, the speed and the you know, just like the rate, it's really intimidating. So if you have a lick of French or an interest in learning another language, such as French, I'd say this is a big tick to go there on just the language side. We haven't even gone into arts, food, experiences, everything else.
So as Dan mentioned, like there has been so many factors that have wowed us, and spending a week here has been like so good. Just to have a week in the one suburb in Montreal to just like properly explore it. We've been biking around. We've been walking. I've loved the Bixis. Even despite my rough start.
Very rough start.
But that's okay. We've come leaps and bounds. Bixi is the like public bike system that's available, and you can just sign up for a membership. It was like cost us $22 for the month, even though we're only here for a week. But still worth it.
Still worth it.
And you get unlimited rides under 45 minutes. And there's like, I kid you not, there's just like bike stations everywhere.
You wait a few minutes at any station.
Yeah, like even if we just, you know, rocked up for a bike station, there was no free, because you have to have a free slot to be able to lock your bike in. You know, you'd wait a minute, someone would come take one. Or if there's no bikes, you'd be like, damn. But then we just like in the moment of us being like, all right, let's find the next closest one. Someone would come in. It was just so convenient. I was enamored by how great the system was.
Yeah. And everything in around town is a sub 45-minute ride.
Oh, yeah. And there's bike lanes everywhere. It's so good.
Yeah.
So good.
Absolutely. If you have a helmet,
so nice.
wear it.
Yeah.
But if you're like us and you don't carry one with you as you travel, that's okay.
Yes.
It's not required for push bikes. It is mandatory for the e-bike option, just so you know.
Yeah. And you can also hire the e-bikes too. Like there's heaps of them. They're a little bit more expensive.
Yeah, some of those hills get us, but it's okay. It's usually worth it.
Pretty flat though.
Yeah, pretty flat overall.
Honestly, such a friendly city for
big tick.
cycling and
Language,
walking.
c'est bon. Transport, c'est bon.
Yep.
Okay, what else have we got? A big one for you.
The food.
Yeah, this is the big one for you to
Oh
talk
my
about.
God,
It's your zone.
Okay. It was hard because I'm celiac.
Yep.
And there is so much good food, like
Yeah,
the
that is laced with
croissants, the
French
bagels.
influence.
Oh my God, like just all the bakeries, just so much good food. Also good gluten-free food. I will,
Yeah, you got-
I
yeah,
will
you got
caveat.
that
I have
option.
like a full list.
Easier
so
than Central America.
I'm going to put that in my Substack, a list of all the amazing places that I ate at.
Great.
But yeah, it was hard because I was so tempted. And then it got to like kind of the second half of our stay here and I was just like,
The guard dropped a little bit.
nah,
Maddie saw me ordering,
this.
grabbing a couple of great fresh bagels.
I'm breaking the gluten-free life
I gotta
for
give you kudos.
a day.
She owns that.
No, it was actually 2 days, let's be honest.
I was about to qualify.
So I was a really bad celiac. I mean, celiacs, you ask like dedicated ones, they would not do this. But look, I'm a bit like, I've still got to live my life.
still gotta live your
And
life.
I'm really good.
Yeah.
I'm really good
Yeah,
so that when
you're
I
really good,
have
you're really
these
good.
like 1 or 2 days a year,
Yeah.
I can indulge and enjoy.
I will
Yeah.
commend you on that. I can honestly say
Yeah.
she's speaking
Yeah.
the truth.
Yeah.
And it's really hard when, for example, we had a fantastic project opportunity with Flight Centre we've been traveling content with.
Yeah.
And, you know, it was our $100 budget challenge, similar to what we've done in the past. It's a very popular theme with this kind of travel content.
Yeah.
And you can't not go to two of the staple kind of like revered bagel institutions
Yeah.
here in Montreal, Saint Viateur and Fairmount Bagel.
And
If
they're
you know,
like
you know.
fresh,
And they
hot,
make
out of
them
the
fresh.
oven.
They're like just $1.10 each or
Oh
$2.10,
my
whatever. It was
God.
like it cost simply nothing.
So I indulged.
And Maddie's
I had a
recording,
bagel.
and she sees me bring her out, and she's like, "Oh, the cream cheese, and it's all good." And you broke it for that. You broke it for probably
Yeah.
the best bagels.
It was like
nearly
the best
in the world,
bagel.
like the best place. Like I know
Yeah.
there's New York style bagels and other
But
places.
that's
do
different
bagels,
with the
but,
New
like,
York ones, and they're meant to
there's a
be
different
the
thing.
Canadians, the Montrealians think that they're better because they're like
They're all
handmade,
all handmade.
all wood fired in a wood fired oven,
Yep.
and the
different with a different texture, different
the
crust,
dough's
different
like
dough.
and then the dough's dipped, boiled or poached
Poached.
in honey water,
Yeah.
so they're like
it's a
doughier and
different
sweeter. Yeah,
So even I was sitting there being like, look, like, man, today would suck to be a celiac.
Yeah.
And I just think by all means, good green light,
Yeah.
good self-awareness to say
Yeah.
this is what I'll do it for.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
Pick your shots.
I enjoyed those pieces of bread.
Yeah.
What else did I have? The bagel and the bread, the baguette. Yeah,
Yeah, and the baguette.
were just
Yeah.
to die for.
Yeah.
And we had it with like Canada cheese. We had the
Prosciutto,
bagel.
whatever it
I had the
was.
bagel with
Yeah.
cream cheese and smoked salmon.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it was
You
so
did it.
good.
You did it.
It was so good.
And I think, and I'll
Yeah.
align this kind of with like, because I don't want to.
I enjoyed it because I can't have it all the time.
Yeah.
I like fully enjoy that moment so much more than like the average person would, I reckon.
Totally,
I mean, I
totally.
was speaking on behalf of people that I don't actually know
Yeah.
what they experience, but
Yeah.
from my experience, like when I would used to eat bread, when I could just have it freely compared to when I eat it now,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my
You
god,
have a
because I
different
can't have it all the
appreciation.
time. Yeah.
And I think there's something that comes with like the importance of self-discipline, because it actually means like you're more present and intentional with the choices you make.
Yeah.
So for those who you know watching and listening to this, you
Yeah.
may not be a celiac, you may not be able to like resonate with taking gluten out of your life.
Yeah.
But in my example, like I went through, I'd say not a strict regimen, but I had a season of bodybuilding, and it wasn't like I had to cut foods or I was allergic to them, but I just had to be way more aware of them.
Yeah.
And so all of a sudden, the kind of 10-20% foods that my trainer called fun foods, you bet I appreciated them. Like the 2 blocks of dark chocolate or 2 little
Yeah.
blocks of dark chocolate I got,
Yeah.
the scoop of peanut butter, the handful of lollies or gluten-free pistachio.
We just indulged in some gluten-free macarons, and that was nice.
When you get them and you don't just have this like overabundance and overindulgence,
Yeah.
there's something to say about like just being
It's a better
more mindful. And it's just a
experience.
better experience. And I can say that, and it's like even though I'm no longer bodybuilding, I still kind of have that level of appreciation because I don't know, it's something about that builds up, the apprehension, the
yeah,
payoff.
the
of then just
poutine
gonna
for
do it, the
you,
poutine,
like yeah.
Like I haven't had poutine, which for those, you know, if you don't, it's
Oh,
chips,
it's good,
cheese
yeah.
curd and gravy, and it's infamous here as a
I'll
Quebec
link
favorite.
the best place to go in my Substack.
Absolutely. Last time I had poutine was literally 10 years ago last year in Montreal. And I knew that if I'm going to do it here, I'm going to go to the place, the OJ place, La Banquise, to get it done. And 10 years on, It was fresh. It was filling. It was full of carbs and fat and all the good stuff. And I was like, cool, I've ticked that box. I don't think I need it for a little while.
Yeah.
Now, that little while ended up becoming 4 days later. So I did have a little munch today because I'm like, that's my last day in Montreal.
last day in Montreal.
And I probably won't have it again for a while. But it's like, yeah, I think you can just lose your appreciation for pleasures if you just have too much exposure to them. And you just
Yeah,
to them.
absolutely.
So I'm very, very proud to see you step into your gluten break and then also have the discipline to say, right,
I was like, right.
I've drawn the line.
Yeah.
I'm good.
I'm probably paying for it now
Yeah.
on the inside.
Yeah. There's a
Sorry,
little sand
sand
coming in.
plug right in my eye.
That's right, as it happens. But fair to say that, yes, whether
So
you're
the food
celiac
is amazing.
or non-celiac, food,
Yeah.
c'est bon.
Don't
Another
come
one.
here
Bon appetit.
and like expect to be cooking. Just
Yeah.
enjoy,
Let this bit go eat out.
indulge in the
Have-
good food. The coffee's great.
Bump
the
into your
ice
budget a
cream's
little bit.
great.
Have a splurge budget in
The
your
restaurants are amazing. Like
Yeah.
we had some amazing French food
Yeah, yeah.
at that
And
restaurant.
Would you give a recommendation to Mount Plateau?
Oh
Staying where we're
yes,
staying?
so we're staying in Plateau Montreal.
Plateau Montreal.
Plateau
thank you.
Montreal, which is like kind of where it's all happening.
Yeah.
So if you come to Montreal, would highly recommend staying there because I think a lot of tourists go to like the downtown and Old Town,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
is fine.
Yeah, yeah.
But you really need to get out into the suburbs of Montreal to really experience it. And you can easily bike into the CBD.
Which I
yeah.
don't really feel like you're missing much.
Nah,
The
it's
CBD is just a big
Plateau Montreal is where
concrete
it's at.
jungle.
Yeah.
If you're in Melbourne and you can liken this to Fitzroy, Carlton, Lygon Street, that's kind of like the, cocktail of food options, that like hipster, grungy,
Yeah.
gentrifying area is what we found Plateau Montreal. to
Yeah,
kind of
and
be
there's
like.
heaps of like, because we're here in the summer, there's like pedestrian streets, like pedestrian only streets that are just like filled with restaurants that all have like, sprawled out onto the road
Yeah.
because there's no cars. So it's just like, it's such a vibe.
Yeah, it's a mad vibe.
Such a vibe.
Such a vibe. Agreed. So food's a big tick. Have we missed anything? Other
Music.
was gonna
We've
say,
done
yeah,
a bit of live
music
music.
and arts, yeah.
We've done the electronic music. We've
Yep.
done the jazz.
Yeah, Picnic Electronic, if you
Yeah.
know, you know. A beautiful
Yeah.
series of Sunday electronic sessions held across the world. I obviously know them in Melbourne, but Montreal's is awesome. Saw Sammy Vergi,
Yeah.
UK-based artist, a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Had a little groove. Saw some fantastic jazz at a jazz
Yeah.
club night that was literally
Yeah.
under our apartment.
Yes.
very
So we
good.
did, because we haven't done like a proper date night in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would say even like there was a while we didn't even do one in Australia
think
because we were like so busy trying to get out of there. So I
Yeah.
would say it'd be like, I don't know, sometime in February or January we last did a date night, like a proper date night.
yeah.
Not just like, oh, let's go out for dinner.
Yeah. Planned, where someone else takes the reins.
Someone else fully
and
takes
gets
the
to decide,
rein,
yeah.
and we just did that. So last 2 nights, I did one night, Dan did the other night.
It's very good.
Which was beautiful. We went to Cirque du Soleil, which is where it is born here in Montreal.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it
talent
was so
and
good.
mastery.
Yeah.
And just this like, if you've seen it, you know it's this like blend of
Yeah.
it's entertainment, but it's artistry.
Yeah.
It really is.
It's incredible. Yeah.
It's where it meets it.
And then Dan took me on a wonderful trio of events,
Gotta
which
love it.
was
Even though it's 32 degrees, I still put us in a sauna
so
at the beautiful Boda Boda, which
that's
it
right,
is
a spa experience.
That's absolutely.
Yeah.
It was a transformed ferry.
Right in the heart of
boat ferry.
the
Right
city,
in the heart. Yep.
yeah, on the river.
That's it.
And then we did the jazz club where we
Yep.
had wine and cheese.
That's great.
And then we
Topped it off with, can you pronounce it?
L'Espress.
Very good.
L'Espress.
A French bistro.
French bistro.
Renowned for being open till 2 a.m. every night.
Not L'Espress.
Not let express because you conjugate that apostrophe e
Where the
lingual
service was
together.
amazing. Yeah.
Express.
So we've just indulged and we've had a great time.
and we're guilt free about it. I think there's a
100%.
younger version of part of ourselves that is worried about like budgeting and saving and being overly scrimping and whatever.
but this is the time we just wanted
this
to
is
live
the
it up.
time.
This is what we saved up for. Like,
I was going to say, like,
Yeah.
if we just kept doing what we were doing for van lifing,
Yeah.
living a pretty, saving everything and being
Yeah.
whatever, and we just came back to Australia, it would have been like, well, where was the,
yeah.
like,
And we wanted to invest in experiences and
Yeah.
stuff when we were here. We wrote that down.
we wrote that down and we set an intention,
Yeah.
So not here to say blow out and do whatever, but
but
actually
pick your-
remind
pick your
yourself, like,
darlings.
yeah, exactly, and like
Yeah.
also remind yourself, like, why are you traveling?
Yeah.
Are you doing it just to go over and worry about every dollar?
Yeah.
And how much you're going to have, or do you
Yeah.
actually spend most of our life working so that when you're in those moments where you do things that matter to you, like
Yeah.
food or music or culture or whatever it is, you do it without this like
Yeah.
self-restraint or this constraint of being like, oh, I can't do this or whatever.
Yeah, or like
So-
penny pinching.
Or penny pinching your way through. I think that's why it was so enjoyable.
So nice. I did a bit of shopping.
Yep.
The shopping is amazing. Like for clothing for women. I don't know about men. I didn't really look because I was doing that solo.
I saw some designer stuff. For
Yeah,
men, but
it is pretty
but
good.
It probably favoured women at least.
Yeah,
what I saw.
like there's so much vintage, secondhand, like
Yep.
just oh my god, so much.
What did you get? This little beautiful
I got
piece
this
you're
top,
wearing right now?
yeah, which was made by it's a women owned company, and they like make all of their stuff from basically salvaged material, and 3 women designers, and yeah, made right here, like literally down the road. So
Love it.
that was cool.
Yep.
The art, I've been enamored by the art.
Yep.
More so just like how much art is in the streets.
Yep.
Like
Got to
on
recognise the
display for
street art and the
public.
murals
Yeah.
are beautiful in itself. I actually think, like, to be fair, we didn't get to go to the Contemporary
No.
Art Museum, which was the only one left on my list that I didn't get to.
know, yeah.
But we did the Fine Arts Museum.
Yeah.
There's obviously this there's actually just a beautiful blend, I think, of that,
A
like,
European influence.
European influence
Yeah.
coupled with, like, that modern, bustling,
Yeah.
contemporary art scene.
Yeah.
And in all walks. And we only just saw a lick of it, to be honest. In summer, there's a lot of festivals going on. There's, like, a film festival. There's
Yeah.
comedy going on. That
If we
didn't
were
get
here
to.
earlier, there's a
Oh,
jazz
man.
festival.
Jazz festival, the big one over here. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
probably here from our just pure infatuation. And I'm not gonna say this all. There aren't any drawbacks to it. I mean, I think the drawback I mentioned was that, like, Montreal gets this for 2-3 months in a year.
Yeah, and then
And so if you're willing to put up with 9 months of like cold and winter and whatnot, we feel like we've just been in this eternal summer since leaving Brisbane
Yeah.
in March, and then kind of like going through Central America and then coming to Canada. So it's all going to return, swing, hit us later in the year. But we're we give a big 10 out of 10 recommendation
Yeah, for Montreal in the
for
summer.
nailing Montreal in the summer.
Yeah.
It's a really good way to do it.
Yeah. I'm so glad we made the effort to come over this side.
Yeah, we did, and hopefully you do too.
Yeah.
Off the back of obviously all these activities that we do, I think what we didn't touch on, and I think is worth sharing, especially for couples that are traveling, or like if you're planning to travel with a couple, do you want to do a big trip like this, is prioritizing, like, we call them like the solo missions, or realizing that, like, as two individuals, as like, in a couple, we're also two individuals that have a different set of interests and values, the combinatorics of what we love, and that is okay.
Yeah.
So instead of the earlier version of me thinking like, oh, like my partner has to love electronic music and so and come to all these events that I'm trying to force her to like the things I like, or Maddie expecting me to like all the things her like, we just said, no, that's your zone. So you just give yourself time. You just put a list down. And I think something you did really well at the start of this week was like, you made an effort to say, hey, we both need to put down
Yeah,
time.
write out down the list of things that we personally want to do.
Personally want to do outside of each other.
regardless of each other. Yeah.
Yeah, that was really good.
And, whilst we say we really enjoy this, there has been a little bit of work here.
Yeah,
So we
just a
also
little bit.
had to, like, account for that.
Yeah.
Because I'm guilty of, I think I've spoken about this in other videos, of like having this enormous list and then feeling disappointed when I don't get through the enormous list.
Yeah. The Vancouver,
Yeah.
you took that as a
Yeah.
lesson. Yeah, you did.
Prioritizing what
few-
are the few things that you do want to really do when
Yeah.
you're in a city.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that, ironically, that's kind of the ethos of minimalism. It's like the disciplined pursuit of less, but it's like maximizing on the fewest experiences that you absolutely want to go all in on.
Yeah.
And I think this week was an embodiment because we came to the end of it, and like the list that we made weren't
And
so
we
overwhelming.
also, like, once we'd made our personal list, we then like came and shared them with each other.
Yeah.
And if there was things that we both wanted to do,
Be like,
we'd be like, cool.
Great, we just linked that up.
We'll do them together. Yeah.
And then it's like, great, if we want to do it separate. And I think, an example
Yeah.
of that was like, I really wanted to do an electronic event while I was here.
Yeah.
I didn't force it on Maddie, but I'm like, this is what's happening. She was down for that. Great. That was really, really,
Yeah.
really cool. Some things happened to cross over with the day we did filming for Flight Centre.
Yes.
Another time, it was like, Maddie wants to go do hot yoga. I think that's crazy, this
Yeah.
temperature, but she can go do her thing. And I signed up for a gym membership and got back into the gym as I was kind of craving throwing some weights around and having that done. And it was also valuable having time apart from each other
Definitely.
in a week like this.
Definitely.
So, takeaway, if necessary. I mean, we should probably be doing this on a regular basis, not just necessarily on holiday.
It's hard though. Like, we have tried.
Yeah, I know.
When you're in a van and in a house sit,
Yeah.
and you've
And-
got projects like, you
Yeah.
need to be at the house so you can do stuff. And
Yeah.
it's like,
And you
well,
got
I
pets to
also
look
need to be at the
after.
house to look after pets. Like,
Yeah,
when we're in
yeah.
a van, it's very difficult as well
It is.
because the van is your mode of transport. So it's like if one person wants to go out for the day,
Yeah.
you still got. It's just difficult.
It's just difficult.
It's really difficult.
Yeah, and that's one thing I'll own and say, like, we don't actually have a solution for that yet.
Yeah.
We're like, we've spoken about it.
Yeah.
And we go, like, is it maybe one partner drops another partner off at the
Yeah.
place they want to go to, and then they go back and they just
And it's hard
separate.
because it's like other than WeWork,
yeah,
you can't really like hang around at a cafe for like the whole day.
the whole day. I mean, yeah.
You maybe cafe jump.
But
yeah, it depends
haven't
on the
sold it.
area. Yeah.
So I'm
Work
glad.
in progress.
I'm glad. Yeah, work in progress on that one. But for the weeks like this, in a place where there's so many things that can fulfill both of our interests and our values, I'm glad.
Sorry, it's not. Yeah,
Sorry.
the sandfly flew into it. Now it's
We're
itchy.
just dealing with all the conditions out here. We got wild squirrels running around. You can't see them. This park's being taken over right now. But yeah, I just thought we'd impart that as to share that. Yeah, we haven't got it perfect, and
No.
like I think Maddie and I can both probably say we feel like we've had a bit too much of each other. Not that the other person just annoying the other person. It's not even like we're trying to do malicious. It's just
No.
like if you're cooped up in a van in close quarters and it is your home, your study, your
Yeah.
transit, your bed, your kitchen and dining table, and also the only other person that you're really interacting with on a daily basis, you just have that upper limit.
Yeah.
We just go, I just need to pull back into myself sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this has been great. We've
It's been really
needed
good.
it. Yeah.
We really needed
Yeah.
it. Especially, we're going to go, for reference, as the penny drop we had last time, we are going to be going to New York.
Yes.
And it's back into a house sit.
Yes.
So we don't have the car this time, but we are in an apartment.
So like, I was looking into. I honestly don't think many people would be able to afford to even like stay in New York for a week.
It would be
in
a
the
stretch.
city.
In the city, no. No,
It's
absolutely not.
so expensive.
Did you want
so
it in the city? I don't know.
no, I don't know. But so we were I was stoked when I found a house sit
Incredible.
in New York. I didn't think we'd get it, but
Yeah.
of
Yeah, we
course,
thought we were an outside
We interviewed and we got it. So Antonio.
Yep.
Oh, I don't know if I should reveal the name.
That's right. There's no last name.
No.
And there's no address.
Yep.
So
It's having us for
happy
a
to have
week.
us. She trusted in
over
her
a
gut
week.
or instinct. She
Yeah,
came
she-
straight off the call. What
yeah.
did she say?
She
texted
literally,
you.
like a minute after we ended the call, was like, "Nope, I'm going with my gut. I'd love to have you guys."
Wow, there you go. That's what I'm
So,
talking about.
yeah.
Great energy. When you feel it,
You
know
know,
it, and
you
it's
know.
real.
Yep.
So yeah,
Yeah.
one of the keys to trusted house sitters is just be a great person, and people feel your energy. People feel you're sincere and authentic.
Yeah.
And you're great.
Yeah.
So no, that's the wrap up I wanted to make on that. And then I also wanted to like show the other side as well, which is I think what I really enjoy about these is that we may look like a thriving, bubbling couple on the surface, but we also have these moments where we have
Oh, absolutely.
moments where we need
Yeah.
repair and reconnecting.
Yeah, we're human. We're imperfect beings.
And I think we had a really great episode that would just be worth sharing about how we lost track of, I think, each other and the connection that's necessary. And I'll give you a quick context, but about a week and a half ago, I was very grateful. We were being probably like flooded with more opportunities from our, content partnership with Flight Centre. Like we kind of jokingly said, oh, like, we're going to both Montreal and New York. And we just kind of said to ourselves, like, just one video would be great. Like, one
Yeah,
would be
we
nice,
did not
whatever.
think both.
And I thought, I'll just throw it over to them and say, look, we're in these two cities for about a
Yeah.
week each. Like, let us know which one you prefer. For me, it was
Yeah.
very like nonchalant, indifferent. I wasn't hard pitching to. I said, let us know which one, and we'll just like make it work.
Yeah.
And they kind of came back and were like, oh, like we'd love you to make like
Both.
a video in each city. And we kind of both read the email and we're like, shit, okay, like, do we do it? Can we make it? Is there something that's aligned with us? And I just felt this moment of like, okay, like I want to check back in as a couple and just flag with Maddie and say,
Yeah.
I don't want to become a couple. And you guys may know of them. You see them on social media. Those like influencer couples, even like the Bachelor and Bachelorette, the winners. You see them like date fake, like they fake date for a few months after the show's over and they announce their breakup. And I just use that as an analogy because I didn't want us to pretend as if like we're just trying to maintain this image of like we're that traveling couple and we have to be perfect. Meanwhile, like offline, we're not enjoying the filming process. We're disconnecting. We're creatively clashing all the time. And I just said to Maddie, I'm like, if it ever gets to that, like we can just pull the plug. If you just don't want to do a video, like
Yeah,
I don't want to
saying
do it if we're deprioritizing ourselves. And so I just said it last week and Maddie was like, no, it's cool. Like
Yeah.
I love these videos. I'm not taking on too much. Fast forward to when we filmed our Flight Centre video and coming into the day,
Yeah.
probably a little bit like,
I
you
just kind of woke up feeling a little bit off, and
Yeah.
and that happens
it happens. Yeah.
at a specific time right before I get my period, and that
Definitely.
is totally normal.
Totally fine.
I don't have to over intellectualize it,
Nope.
because I woke up
biology.
and I was just like feeling, and unfortunately I always feel a little bit off towards Dan because you're my closest loved one.
I'm just the one that, is there
to receive it.
To receive it. You got to put it out on someone.
And I said to him, I was like, I I was really brave because normally I struggle to speak up in those moments, and it was kind of midday, and I'd just been feeling the energy was off. I was just a little bit off, and nothing drastic. Like I was still able to like show up and speak on camera, but when I'm off, then like we're off, and then it just like keeps going round and round.
Yeah.
And so I was really brave, and I said to Dan, like, hey, I don't know why. Well, I think I know why. It's this time in my cycle. I'm just feeling really off, and I think I'm just really craving some connection to like ground us back to how we normally are, like how we're normally in tune. So I did that, and it was difficult because I often just want a hug.
Yeah.
But it's really hard to ask for a hug sometimes when it's just totally random and there's no real reason.
Yep, absolutely.
But it worked.
It was a beautiful reminder to put back on my radar about the importance of like, you know, it would have taken 1 or 2 minutes at the start of the day.
Yeah, we kind of like, I felt off like kind of the moment we walked out the door and started, but we just breezed through the morning and went to it because it was a big day, so we had to like get up and get going, but we didn't take time at the start to like just kind of connect and ground ourselves. Yeah.
We're a couple first, creators up second,
Yes.
not creators first and the couple come second.
And there was a lot of pressure on this day because we planned, it was a filming day where we had to get it all done in the one day.
Yeah.
So there was lots of things we had to get done. It was quite time pressured.
The schedule was time punched. It was like 30 degrees, so like even the heat started getting us.
So it was a huge
knockout lines
day.
over
like
and over.
we were so exhausted by the end of it. Like I've had some pretty big days in my lifetime with work.
Yeah.
You know, doing 12.
That was a big one. That felt for me. Yeah, we started filming at about 8 a.m. We finished the final shot just on 9 p.m.
Yeah.
And truly pooped. Like in 10, we're then proud of like what we did and how much.
Yeah, because we were like cycling everywhere, in the heat.
Like 15,000
but you got to like
steps,
show up with energy on the camera.
Yeah.
It's
and it's always funny just as an aside because like as much as people might think that these videos are all pre-scripted and all like everything's lined up, man, it was a shit show. Like Maddie laid down a great itinerary and everything for time, but like we fell behind. We kind of skipped it, had to like pivot the narrative. Something was closed that we wanted to go to, a place we wanted to like, and so the budget kept falling out. And I was sitting there like my classic editing storytelling brain is like, all right, how do I build a narrative? Like we're missing a piece here. The money doesn't make sense. We've got too much.
We had to improvise.
We don't have the tension, and it was just like actually a fun exercise. Yeah. So when you see the video together, which may or may not be up, and I'll probably link it underneath this one if you want to check out what it came together. It may seem like this like seamless, perfectly curated story, but man, it was like it was madness behind the scenes, and I think we enjoy that a little bit.
Yeah, we do.
But if we're not good, if we don't have that like connection and trust and love and resilience to deal with the curveball, it's not fun.
Yeah.
Because like I say to everyone, everyone's like, oh, like you have an easy job, getting paid to like record stuff and you know go and people think it's easy, and I'm like, there's a lot of work, and like to have the courage to get up in public and to film yourself and re-record and do it like it looks easy once the final product comes together, and you know
not a lot of people would do it though.
Not a lot of people would do it. Not a lot of people willing to do it.
It's super easy to criticize.
It's easy to judge, easy to say,
judge and criticize, but it's harder to create.
It is, but we wouldn't change it, and we're grateful for it. But it's just so important.
So grateful for the opportunity. But it was a good reminder for us to like put ourselves first before this project.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think my kind of final note from that was I think it was an impromptu conversation today. Shout out to Tom Nosk, if you know him, Australian-based creator, big influence on my journey as well, who links a lot of like parallels to being an endurance athlete, and to how important like prioritizing you being in an optimal state. Athletes are meticulous with their pre-game, pre-day strategy. The past they eat the night before, their time to go to their bed, what they wake up, their little morning routine. And it's so funny. Like I'm usually a big stickler for my routine in my work, like, you know, when I'm at an office or in other days. But on a day like this, I think like it's so easy to just like skip over all those steps and just get straight into executing it.
Because you're so like, okay, we've got to get going
or whatever. But it's actually like, no. Yeah. It's like the things you do that aren't related to your work sometimes have the biggest influence on how you show up to do your work. Like your rest is just as important as your work. Your time with your loved ones is just as important with your work anyway.
Yeah.
So a timely reminder.
Yeah.
But we got there in the end.
We did.
And finished with my big bucket of poutine. No complaints there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a great week.
So Montreal, we love you.
Yeah.
Je t'aime or j'aime Montreal. I love. Or j'adore. I should say j'adore Montreal. Thank you for having us.
Au revoir.
Bonsoir. Beautiful. We'll see you guys in the next one in New York.
Bye.
Love you. Bye.